As we stay with one of our top stories this hour, food and energy prices really managing to offset the increases for some other items, keeping overall U.S. inflation steady. Those food prices basically flat, as you can see there in July. Still, labor shortages are threatening to push costs higher for farmers and, of course, ultimately consumers, as Donald Trump cracks down on illegal immigration. A number of farms in the United States are now in the midst of their harvest season. And as my colleague David Culver reported last week, some of those farms are struggling right now just to pick all their crops.
Are any of them still salvageable or not?
No, there's not really anything you can do with them at this point.
You've got more than 30 acres of this farm with rotting fruit. I mean, these are cherries that at one point were pretty appetizing, but right now are more than 2 weeks past their prime.
It's also lost revenue for the workers that would have been able to pick them had they been here.
Oregon farmer Ian Chandler says about half his usual crew didn't show up this season.
In Texas, lawmakers are actually considering legislation to increase the number of temporary farm workers. Dante Galeazzi is the president and CEO of the Texas International Produce Association, easy for me to say, Dante, and joins us now. Thanks for being here. So, you know, as we've noted and we've been talking about over the last several months, there are very real concerns, and we're seeing it play out in action, about having enough workers to pick the produce, to process the produce that is in such high demand across this country. What are you seeing?
Yeah, so our folks are seeing very much the same thing. I mean, you know, people sometimes don't understand the scope of it. In Texas alone, we grow 60 different fruit and vegetable crops, and only 5 of those can be harvested by machine. So that means the other 55 crops have to be harvested by hand. Our folks have long been challenged to find enough workers. And, you know, even though we use the program H-2A, which is the government guest worker program, there's still a lot of difficulties and challenge and costs. And our folks just often do not have enough workers. It is one of our largest challenges as fruit and vegetable industry.
You know, another one of my colleagues was reporting just a couple of weeks ago, I believe she was in the Central Valley in California, and was reporting and even spoke with workers. There's a lot of talk about, you know, migrant workers potentially, some who are on visas, others who may not be here legally, people being afraid to show up to work if they're not here legally. She was speaking with farm workers who said they are here fully legally, right? They are legally allowed to work, they're in the country legally, and they're afraid to go to their jobs because there is a concern, they told her directly, they would be profiled and could be, you know, ultimately wrongfully deported or wrongfully detained. Are you seeing similar issues in Texas?
So in Texas, we're not really seeing that, but it's largely because we're in our off season. I mean, how many crops are we going to grow when it's 100 degrees every single day for 3 months in a row? But that said, that's a very real concern for our folks. I mean, we have heard it from others in the industry that, you know, the workers are concerned, to your point, they'll be profiled and they could be asked to leave, or even worse, they could just be in a situation where they don't understand. I mean, these guest workers are from foreign countries and they're not always familiar with our laws or rules or how to do things. And worse, if there's not someone there to translate for them, they're going to be even further lost.
Yeah, I mentioned there are efforts in Texas, obviously, to increase the number of workers who can be brought in. There has been, I know, some back and forth when it comes to the federal government and crackdowns and whether or not farms were going to be targeted. Has it been your experience that there's a clear line of communication with the government when it comes to, you know, what you're seeing and what you're expecting?
So yes, it does feel like there is now. In the early days of June and July, where we saw these ICE immigration actions really ramp up, there was a lot of concern because there weren't clear answers. I mean, here in Texas, we had some ICE folks visiting our farmers, and they weren't even sure what the H-2A program was or what to look for. Thankfully, they have quickly adjusted that. We are seeing that the enforcement actions are no longer targeting farms. Obviously, we still have some concern in warehouses, but again, it does look like the government has been in communication. They've heard our concerns. The enforcement actions have been targeted now. So that's to say they're not just randomly knocking on doors. They have warrants and they know who they're looking for.
So this is, you know, I'm struck by the number that you gave there, 60 some odd, you know, crops that are grown in the state of Texas. Only 5 of those can be harvested by machine. Correct me if I'm not remembering that correctly from what you said. In terms of always being able, right, to fill the need for workers, I would imagine this is a constant issue, not just in this moment.
Yeah.
Why is it so hard to get enough people out there for these jobs?
Well, unfortunately, I don't have the 3 hours it would take to talk about the root cause of this issue. But let me just say this. Our country has long had an issue with never having enough workers for agriculture. The first Braceros program was from 1913. And I mean, it dates even before that. We just have never had enough workers for our industry. And you know, even though the government has stepped up and created programs like the H2A and H2B, there's so many challenges with that program that small farmers often can't access it, or they can't afford to access it. So, you know, we really, as a country, have got to sit down and make some decisions and decide, do we want to even keep growing fruits and vegetables? Because if we do, we've got to get a functioning guest worker and immigration system in place.
Dante, really appreciate you joining us and appreciate your perspective today. Thank you.